Hello, my urban gardeners and fellow stewards of the land. The sun is shining, the wind is blowing, and the birds are chirping. It's time to heal us some potatoes. Come plant with me. Currently, what we're working with today is a combination of two raised bed planter boxes that I've created using scrap lumber from around my yard. I've designated these two as my potato boxes. I have a combination of about 20 russet and yellow potatoes that I've placed in these two boxes. And originally, just as stated in my previous video, when I planted these potatoes, first thing I did is I built the raised bed down at the bottom, which is about maybe give or take 5-6 inches deep. The potatoes were actually seeding very well in my cupboard in my house, waiting to be planted. Once they started sprouting and seeding, I decided to go ahead, bring them out to the box and place them in this first row. Once I started seeing some seedlings actually coming up out of the soil, I placed another row on top using that scrap wood again, and as you can see, we've got some exponential growth. What you want to do when you're seeding and healing your potatoes, about every 6 to 8 inches or so, you want to keep adding soil to it because it provides more surface area for your potatoes to grow in. Your tubers will actually start to, you'll increase your yield. And as you can see here, we've got some exponential growth going on these potatoes. We're looking at about a good 8 to 10 inches of upward growth on these potatoes. So I want to go ahead and heal them some more so that I can get more tubers down in the soil here so I can actually have a higher yield. I'm expecting, with using this healing method, to possibly look at about 4 to 5, maybe even higher potatoes per potato plant that comes up. But now in this second box, we can see that on our outside rows, we've actually got some good room for healing. It looks about 7 inches per take. But in the center, the potatoes that are in the center here, they're not as tall, but by the healing method, I think that'll be perfectly fine. Now, in case you're wondering, when you saw this sped up footage of me placing the lumber together, you might have noticed that I only placed screws in the sides of the boards. The reason behind that is I want that to be intentional, because as it's time to harvest these potatoes up out of the ground, I don't want to have to dig them up. What I'm going to do is actually just remove the boards and then simply pull the tomatoes right from out of the soil. All right, now that we got our next layer in, now we can go ahead and start adding our soil. First, I want to show you, by adding our next layer of lumber in, exactly how much more surface area we're creating. We'll take measure there. It looks like we're getting an additional almost 6.5 inches. Those additional 6.5 inches will provide us more surface area. More surface area will yield us more potatoes. Hopefully, that's the plan. Now all I'm going to be doing here is actually mixing in some compost from last night's dinner. As you can see, we've got some good compost here. We've got some avocado husks, and we have some eggshells from breakfast and from dinner. And we actually even have a little bit of paper towel in there too, because this is actually compostable material. It will break down into the soil. And it looks like we got some old grapes up in here too. So we're going to add this, and then we're also going to go ahead and backfill our soil. I get a lot of water that runs through this growing area, and I don't want my nutrients to wash away, hence the reason why I choose to use a raised bed method. There are a multitude of different methods you can use. I've actually grown potatoes in a 5-gallon bucket before. I've seen methods where potatoes are grown just by using straw and literally making a hill out of said straw and growing the potato. Now, of course, methods do vary depending on your growing zone and depending on the variation of your variety, excuse me, of potatoes that you're growing. But it's really about what works best for you, and of course the fact that you're having fun while you do it. Now, I'm anticipating, I could be wrong, but I'm anticipating, gardening is always kind of a little bit of a guesswork, that if I can get about 5 or 6 good tubers off of these 20 some odd plants, we're looking at about 100, maybe 120 potatoes within the next, let's say 90 days. So that's going to be a good amount of potatoes. Of course, after I grow my potatoes and then harvest them, then I want to cure them, then I'm going to look at storage methods. Look for that video to come out in the next couple of months. Now, in case you're wondering, like, hey, you got all that mulch down there. Is that going to affect your plants, your potatoes? And the answer to that question is yes, but in a good way. Having that mulch down in the bottom is actually going to allow for the plants during our hot summers here in Texas. It's going to allow them, excuse me, to retain moisture. So that was purely intentional. And actually, I thought about something I forgot to mention to you guys. When this box was started off, I should have did a video for that. It was actually just backfilled with excess straw and hay that I had from my chicken coop during the winter months to provide bedding for them. Leaves that had accumulated throughout the yard, and just any compostable material, because all of that will eventually break down and provide good soil and nutrient provide good nitrogen to the potatoes. Here we really do focus on being a zero waste facility. We try to use every and anything we possibly can. With that being said, I received really good comment from one of my subscribers. It really touched my heart, and she was saying that in her farm in Virginia, that her and her husband, when they work the land, they pretty much use a zero waste kind of principle as well. And she's also the one that gave me that nice phrase that I used at the beginning about us all as gardeners being stewards of the land. And I really like that sentiment. And as gardeners, we really are all just stewards of the land. This land is borrowed. We're here and we're using it. We might as well try to add some life back to this soil. And I apologize for my cadence, because I just realized I sound like Jeff Goldblum again. I don't know why I keep defaulting to Jurassic Park. Life will find a way. So, as I stated before, I really like and enjoy you guys' comments. So if there's any questions about the hilling method that I'm using, or the dimensions for this raised bed box, or whatever, or maybe you just want to tell me hello and where you're growing in, please hit me up in the comments, because I do enjoy that. I love the feedback that I receive from all of you guys. It lets me know that I'm doing something that is worthwhile and beneficial to mankind. So please hit me up in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are. Or if you don't have any specific thoughts, just say hey, because I do like getting those hays from you. Say hey, and let me know what zone you're growing in, and also what you're growing this season. I would be interested to find out. I do like hearing about the different crops that people are investing in, and where they're spending their time with their family and loved ones when they're in their garden. it's really good information for me. It's food for the soul, so to speak. Now, in case you are wondering, yes, the soil blend that I'm using is actually a brand from Walmart by the name of Expert Gardener. It was about $3.50 or so. And I know I've said before that it's better to, if you're going to purchase soil, to purchase it by the truckload, because you end up saving way more money. Honestly, a pickup truck, my truck, was able to get most of the soil that I used for my garden this year. But I was kind of in a pinch, and I knew I wanted to add some more depth and surface area to this raised bed. So I ended up going with the bagged version. But I want to let you guys know, going with bagged soil, if you're trying to be sustainable, is really not a cost-effective method. Reason being is because it took 6 bags, each being a cubic foot worth of soil, dimensions of soil, just to fill this up to the 6.5 inches that I wanted for my hilling. So if you think about that, let's round it up to $4. At 6, that's $24 that I've paid for soil. Your garden, and I don't want to get up on my high horse, but gardening is a habit that can be really expensive if you allow it to be. So again, do what works best for you. But some of you got into gardening because you're trying to save money at the grocery store. Well, are you really saving if you're spending all your money on soil and additives and so forth? So that's why a lot of the methods that I employ in my garden are more organic methods, just to honestly to exercise a little frugalness. But that's just me. Do whatever works best for you. All right, and here we go. We've added our new soil and compost into our raised bed garden for our hilling our potatoes. I can't wait to see how these potatoes come out. And now that we've done one box, time to gravitate over to the second box and do the same thing. Rinse and repeat. And there you have it, folks. Today I've shared with you the methods that I employ when growing and hilling my potatoes. And I've also shared some other options that you can try. But at the end of the day, do what you enjoy. Do what works best for you in your specific growing zone. Hey, I'm out here in North Texas, out in North Dakota, or Virginia, or even Singapore. There may be different methods that can be employed. But at the end of the day, have fun. So I appreciate you guys for commenting, watching, and hanging out with me here today. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your day. And always remember, enjoy life, enjoy family, and enjoy your garden. Thanks for watching, gang.